Well, happy Saturday, everyone. I hope you enjoy the upcoming weekend. We still have severe weather in pockets across the country. And this is actually how the advisory map looked last night at 6:30 Friday night, and we had all kinds of severe thunderstorm watches and ongoing warnings all through portions of Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi, down to Louisiana, and ultimately down to Texas. And let's see how that panned out. Well, we had some greater than 60 mile per hour wind gusts in a couple of places near Louisville on the Tennessee-Kentucky border, just kind of scattered around Shreveport, 64 mile per hour wind gusts, San Antonio, 65. Just to give you kind of a sampling. But it was a hail event to be sure. We had in green, this is 1 to 1.25 inch hail. In yellow, we have 1.5 to 2 inch hail in those areas. And that's up in Ohio there. You can see Pittsburgh and Youngstown. And this hail swath here is just south of Cleveland. And we'll continue the Hail Odyssey tour here. So we had some 2 inch hail off north of Interstate 22 there in northern Alabama, and also down in Texas, which is usually known for the large hail. We had 2.75 hail size down there, an inch and a half there in northern Louisiana. And just to remind you, this is the real life kind of comparisons. So when you're talking about tennis ball size hail, you're talking about some of those reports you just saw in Texas, and baseball size hail. We had one of those as well. Nothing on this magnitude scale, but we've had those certainly this spring. We'll switch gears real quick and talk about the tornado season so far. Well, actually through May 1st, but 699 tornadoes in the country. And this is the red line that shows how those broke out. And you can easily see the outbreaks here, and even a little bit right here. Lately, they're just kind of inching upwards. So the mean is right here. So we are well above, ahead of what is considered normal for this time of year. It's quieting down, though, here temporarily. On the map, this is what the 699 looks like. You can see all those outbreaks from March and April here. We had some EF4s, no EF5s, but lots of tornadoes. I live in the Ozarks here. I think our count was 24. Depends on how you define the Ozarks, but yeah, a lot. And it's been a good 5 years since we've had that many in our area. Anyway, let's take a look at the next 42 hours here. This is the HRRR high-res model. This kind of shows the surface pattern, the isobars, and the expected thunderstorms. Again, it's a model. It's not the absolute truth, but it gives you a good idea where all the severe thunderstorms are going to be here, right out here ahead of these advancing lines. You'll also notice that this low kind of spins around and backs up. We're in a stagnant pattern this week. It's an omega block, so it just means we have two lows and a high, and when that pattern occurs in the upper atmosphere, things move more slowly. So if you're cool and sunny, you'll probably stay that way. If you have showers and thunderstorms with occasional severe weather, you'll probably stay that way here for the next several days at least. So let's go on to the outlooks today. Here's the severe weather outlook for Saturday, and you can see that the maximum area runs from southern Vermont and New Hampshire, not quite getting to Boston, but including Albany, all the way arcing down to Charlotte. In that area there, with the lowest probability here surrounding that. It's not a fantastic threat for severe weather, but it does exist. And there are some tornado potentials here. 2% tornado risks in Pennsylvania, parts of Virginia, and back up into New England, and a small little pocket there around the Florida Panhandle around Pensacola today. A 2% risk. That just means 2% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any point. So if we advance ahead to Sunday, I had to kind of expand this because it's split in two. So actually, remember I was saying there are two lows? Well, the one that's spinning here is what's causing this severe weather possibility on Sunday, and the one that's basically out here off the map a little bit is what's bringing that severe weather threat to parts of New Mexico, maybe Texas, on Sunday. Now, if we advance ahead to Monday, and you know that this has been a pattern that's been evolving. There is a slight risk of severe storms, Midland, Lubbock, and continuing eastward. Not quite getting to Austin and San Antonio or Dallas yet, but that's the forecast from the SPC on Monday. And if we move ahead now to Tuesday, there are no official SPC outlooks, but again, they have a 15% the criteria they're looking for. But if you look to the SIPS model here, you can see activity right in the heart of Texas possible on Tuesday. So if we see this, you can maybe say, okay, that's a possibility for a trigger pull on the SPC's forecast for Tuesday. This is the same day, only this is Colorado State's machine learning model. Almost the same, except it stretches it more into Louisiana and Arkansas. And again, this one actually shows you if there's a SPC outlook for that day, and there is not so far. And then on Wednesday, this entire shift, see how everything is in slow motion? So the severe weather threat went from here to here to here. It's just like watching a slow train. But on Wednesday, it just shifts east. So Dallas, Shreveport, not quite Baton Rouge, maybe Little Rock, 15% probabilities. The other thing we look at for the long range, again, continues this trend of slipping it along the southern Gulf Coast states with a maximum 15% there. And then on Thursday, it kind of stretches out along a front in a long area of severe weather possibility. And again, the same for the CSU machine learning, kind of stretching out along the Gulf Coast states there. And on Friday, same deal. So a very slow-moving pattern. So this is the NIU supercell composite, and this is for the first week. So this goes May 3rd through May 9th, so today through May 9th. And so it basically, this kind of helps to understand the forecast I just showed you, because they cover that same time period. And sure enough, this entire area here over that 7-day period just represents that shift in where supercells might develop. Then it really quiets down May 10th through the 16th, but hang on, it's going to change. But this is a high plains event, and some of these actually may get, these probabilities may go up a little bit considering the time of year. But then we really want to focus on the May 17th through May 23rd period, a huge area of supercell potential almost up to Chicago and Des Moines, covering much of Missouri, Illinois, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. The reason why is because this model, looking for supercells, looks for shear and it looks for instability, roughly. And so what you always want, and if you talk to anybody who storm chases, for example, and wants severe weather, they're looking for troughs out west in May. So when you look at the ensemble models, this is the European ensemble, and this just means 500 millibar flow. This just means that they run multiple times with slightly different conditions, and then they take the mean. So this is the 500 millibar mean for May 17th, and you're probably saying, May 17th, that's fantasy land. You're absolutely right. But what we're doing is looking for consistency. So if you're looking for a reason why that supercell composite spiked during this period, which was right in here, by the way, if you recall the map, kind of like that, you're seeing roughly a mean trough out in the west. That's on the EPS model, and on our version, the United States model, the global model, it's even more distinct with a mean trough showing up out west. Again, that just basically means that moisture can come up from the Gulf, and that the wind shear involved with this developing trough will interact with that, and that's just a rough approximation of severe weather. So we're kind of quiet this week with shifting patterns from Texas to the southeast. We'll take a break a little bit, and then later on this May, that may be the last hurrah, but you never know. June could be very active. It's just too far out to tell. So if you're in one of those severe weather areas, have a safe day today, and we'll talk to you on the next Severe Thunderstorm Outlook. Thanks for watching today's edition of Severe Thunderstorm Outlooks. This is published every day after the morning Storm Prediction Center update. Also, remember to check that site off on day one because they update it fairly frequently. If you like this video, please like it. Also, you can subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.